Welcome to the Strong Casuals podcast. My name is Ben. I'm here with Anthony and the Chord King, Eric. Good evening. How are we doing today, boys?
Oh, not too bad.
Pretty good.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It has.
I'm not going to sing it out, but it's been a while.
It has. It has been a while.
Since a regular pod, at least.
Yeah. No, we did some interviews. We had Nadia Stowers on, which was amazing. That was a great interview.
Yeah, that was.
Nadia is amazing. And doing amazing things in the world of strong women. And yeah, it's really cold here. We live in the Midwest, and it's about like 4 degrees outside. That's Fahrenheit for y'all.
For every
in Canada or anywhere
for anybody
else.
Anybody but here. But yeah, it is cold. It's only gonna get colder.
Yeah, I know. Monday's a high of like
zero. I think is what it said. Yeah. High of zero. That's how it needs to be.
We're adults now. We decide to live here, so that's okay.
Just wear your warm socks.
Exactly. Yeah. That's really all you need.
Put those socks on.
Yeah.
What's that old? There's a Scandinavian like saying that's like there's no bad weather. There's just bad clothes.
Yep.
So I think that's probably where we're at. Within the month there was holidays. There was lots of stuff. You know. But King of the Table 13 happened in Atlantic City.
Yeah, dude.
This was soundboard.
This was December 14th.
It was a while ago.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It really has for this one. It's this was. I mean, we were supposed to watch it together, but Ben had other things to do, so we. Ben had more important things to do, and I get it because this was besides the Brian Shaw versus Eddie Hall match. I mean, there was some other good matches, but it was kind of some wipes in a lot of these matches.
I mean, Brian and Eddie sold it. I mean, that was why people tuned in, bought the pay-per-view, watched it because of those two.
I think, and we talked a little bit about. I just think that the majority thought that Brian was going to wipe him. And it didn't really exactly go completely like that at all.
No. I mean, it was fun to watch.
Hit it. No. I mean, yeah, we're going to be watching this match in the background because I need you to see some of the stuff that was going on. Cuz this is
we said before and we actually when we were talking to Nick Best, Nick said the same thing, which was like when Eddie decides he's going to do something, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
Like capital G. And so I don't think I was surprised with his performance. I was a little surprised by his like antics a little bit.
Yeah. I think, we know how competitive these guys are. So it's like, I think it just showed in the match because the match was so competitive and these guys were just amped to the absolute tits, and I think it pushed them to, Eddie said some craziness. Brian was close to. It seemed like Brian was close to hitting Eddie at some points because the tension was. You could cut it with a safety scissors. It was pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean Eddie does this whole like, he's like I'm here to be beaten. That was his like sort of the front he was putting on.
Right. Yeah. That was
like come on Brian, beat me. Like come on Brian.
Yeah, he kept. Yeah, exactly. When he got there, it's like the whole thing. He's like, no, I have nothing to lose, so you should beat me. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to beat me. And the first, it ends up 4-2. I mean, Brian wins 4-2, and Eddie, I forget which round. There was a lot of just hand antics, it was just exciting to see these guys in the grip period. You were just ready to like actually see them because I was watching Neil's videos with Eddie and Devin's giving the impression that Neil's teaching Eddie all these incorrect things, and that's actually obviously not the case. Neil knows exactly what he's talking about, and that's like I said, I don't know if he was just playing that up for the camera. He could have just said off screen that, hey,
I think probably.
He's like, no.
If I'm willing to bet.
Yeah, that was my assumption as well. I mean, he's certainly a showman, but I mean this.
Well, they're both showmen. I mean, Eddie's more of the quote unquote showman than Brian is.
No, yeah.
But I mean, that's a weird card to play. I think they both were trained well, and
Agreed.
They both like paid it. I mean, they paid attention. They were doing their thing, and they're both. I mean, they're used to a platform, literally and figuratively, where like getting people to watch is a thing.
Right.
You know, like, I mean, like, there's not a whole lot of, like, I don't know what the right word to use. There's not a whole lot of, like, drama in strongman, but it's still, you're doing some pretty wild stuff. This is a chance, I think, for, like, Eddie to kind of bring some
of his
hooliganry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a great play. Like, the showmanship that they both have. Arm wrestling, it's very simple. You get up to that table, and it's like you can play as much as you want within, you know, the rules, and
right.
But you can say whatever the heck you want. And it started just super intense, obviously at the start, because they're just trying to grip up, and then once, you know, the first try to speed it up a little bit more, Eric. Even put it to like 2.2.
I mean, I think like there's no doubt in my mind that some of the influence of Devin rubbed off on Brian.
Oh yeah,
because some of the you know, like, I don't know, prior to having a ref script, like messing around, making sure that you're set up, and
putting the back of his hand to like Eddie, always.
And Eddie's a mouth. You know, like,
that's what I'm saying.
He just does not stop talking the entire time.
Throughout training, Eddie was just doing Eddie the whole time.
Yeah.
He didn't put
he
on...
always will.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, he brought this into the match, and I saw no change, you know, and also Brian did the hawk. He had his hat on, and then he turned it around. He turned it backwards for the match. And that's how you know he trained well.
If you have not watched
Over the Top.
Over the top. You should probably watch Over the Top.
Yeah, you should.
And then you should also watch our video and our podcast about Over the Top.
Yeah, if you want to know who Hawk is.
Because if you don't get that reference, you need to watch our video. You know what? Don't watch the movie. Just watch our video.
Right. Exactly. But if you want to see a little bit of arm wrestling in a movie, watch that movie, because, you know, it captures at the very least the fantastical aspect of arm wrestling, that it can be entertaining.
Yeah.
Maybe it takes a little body glitter in some places, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's still entertaining, period.
It's still a sport. It's real to me.
It's real to me, goddammit.
I mean, I honestly, I like the way it went.
I do too.
I think if everyone would have been quiet and Brian would have gone up there, and even if it was 4-2 in the end,
I
think that it would have been boring to watch. And I think that the considerable number of people who got pulled into this event for the sole purpose, for the sole reason that Brian and Eddie were in it,
I'd love to know the numbers.
I would too.
You'll never ever find that out.
We can ask.
Let's ask. Just DM Engen.
Yep.
He may respond. To be honest,
can we email the Enigma of Rage?
I'm gonna be honest. He may respond.
I bet he would.
That's what I'm saying. I really think he probably would.
I don't think his response would be
probably not what we want.
Post on one of his many Facebook posts.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Just comment on it.
I'm not sure I'm ready for that kind of commitment.
The strong casuals are.
Okay, let's do it. Right? Let's do it, boys.
Yeah, make sure you're logged into the
just the strong casuals, dude.
Count your own.
The power of anonymity for the moment until he finds it.
Really,
our links are on there. We're like, oh well. He found us.
Send your responses to canalrats@gmail.com.
Dude, that'd be a solid.
Canalizationrats.
A solid email.
At hotmail.com.
That's right. So Eddie got the first point on fouls. So he, Brian had 3 elbow fouls. Once again, it's just like.
But I don't know if that was a product of like him trying to, or him just legitimately not understanding what he can and cannot do.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't know.
And I think once again, he's like, no matter how many people you train Brian with, they're never gonna pull like Eddie Hall, who's a virgin puller, and but he's still brute strength, but then gets trained. It's like you don't even know what that's gonna feel like necessarily.
Yeah, I know. Like, before they're in the straps, I know Eddie kept on talking about like, we don't need a strap. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, but then right there on that point, when Brian scored that point, Brian was smashing him out of the strap. He just grip pinch his hand, and just he could literally have like just the thumb meat of Eddie, and he just put him down so easily. It was actually horrifying.
Well, in a way, it's kind of nice to watch like
he's using his little those vibrating ball things. He showed that on a couple of his videos.
Yeah, I love vibrating balls.
It's probably like $450 for that thing. It's probably, dude.
Well, hey, just wait till they show up in Evolution Athletics.
Yeah, I know.
But like, shit, what was I gonna say? I think it was actually it was a nice respite from the classic like slip out, strap up, go. Like it was nice. It was almost nice to see two guys that are like not just gonna slip and go to a strap, and then like, yeah, it was a little bit unnerving to watch Brian just like T-Rex his fucking hand.
It's
and pull him
horrifying.
down.
Yeah, his like pinch grip is craziness, and so that was the thing too is, Devin specifically taught Brian how to do a slip out if necessary, and he did it a couple of times in this match, and Eddie like just would shit on him, just
right,
like, that's bullshit, and you're like, yeah, well,
that's arm wrestling.
It is arm wrestling, sadly, and Eddie, I agree with you,
but I mean, but
it is part of the whole thing. If you want to save yourself and be like smart,
sure,
that's just what you do,
right? I mean, I don't think any sport. Maybe I'm getting a little too outside the realm already, but like any sport that has rules. And we've talked about this in Strongman 1,000 freaking times. Like any sport that has rules, like it's good to know them, and it's good to maybe make sure that you utilize them to your benefit.
Yeah.
Like when we talked to like
100%.
James Jeffers, we talked to like knowing how the event is going to go, asking the right questions. Can I do this? Can I not do this? And then being able to play your best hand. That's part of the game. Like that's part of the shindig.
Well, the interesting part about arm wrestling is like, there's guidelines, but they play it super fast and loose, like in arm wrestling. It's like,
well, and yeah, I mean, especially for like Engen events or East vs. Western or like King of the Table, because when we were talking to Eric Rusain, man, we do so many interviews, just referencing.
We've talked to so many people.
Like we're kind of we're huge, but when we were talking to. It's sort of like the same thing, the same reaction we got. I'm going to put all of them together as I possibly can. It's the same reaction we got when we talked to Nick Best about Worlds. We talked to Eric Rusain about like Engen's events, East vs. West, because those are TV shows, and they're like that's what they are. They're TV shows.
Yeah,
and so they have to have that X factor, which may mean that we fall outside the rules a little bit.
Yeah. No. Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely. Wipe all the names off your chest you just dropped because but no 100% it's
and I'm not sure if you guys know, but you can see our interviews with all of those people on both YouTube and listen to them on our podcast.
This is true. Yeah, no, we're
huge in Canada.
We're huge in Canada. Well, I mean, when you see just when somebody's trying to when Devin's trying to choke out somebody on the stage I do not you cannot get more crazy than that during an event. I've never seen anything crazier than that at an event. And could you imagine that at a bar event? I mean, they would just be launched out on their face, I'd imagine, if something like that happened.
I mean, or like they'd actually fight.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't just be one guy.
It would actually be over the top.
Like, yeah, it'd be like, yeah. Can you imagine if someone put, well, I guess anybody in the world of arm wrestling who's come from regional stuff in an art, like it attempted to put them in a headlock, they would that would be world star. Like I mean, that's
true. This is true.
You go straight from. Can you imagine Travis Bajent getting done with an arm wrestling match and then someone running up to him and trying to put him in a headlock? He would hurt them,
dude. I can't even imagine like the blood that's going through that man's veins during the match. I can't even imagine how if you approach him that way, it would be a real problem.
Yeah.
It would be horrible. Well, that's the thing with these guys too. Like you just have the regular refs up here and two of our smaller refs, but like they are good refs. And you're just like, if something really happened between Brian and Eddie,
no, just let them go.
There's no refereeing.
I'm not gonna stop. Like,
no,
it was sort of like the spotters at
two silverbacks
OSG.
going at it.
Like it's just
right.
They'll quick though. Neither of them are silverback athletes. I don't think.
No. We're not sponsored.
We're not sponsored.
I know you guys assume we are by our physiques, but
I know
we're not. Surprisingly.
Well,
I mean, get at us, but
come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro. We can. While this is still going, some other notable matches during this event. I'm trying to see. I
was sort of sad.
Our boy Lars.
Yeah.
Lachlan Adair. I mean,
lost 4-1 over Lachlan Adair.
Lachlan Adair is another guy. You know, he faced what's his Nuggets, Leonidas, right?
And lost to him, didn't he?
Right, because they both came from bodybuilding, and then he lost to Lachlan, or he beat Lachlan. So then we're like, okay, that's really not really saying anything. But then,
Yeah, but Lachlan hasn't pulled since that like Aussie takeover.
right? Or no, wait, no, I apologize. No, Lachlan. It was Paul Lynn. That's right. He faced Paul Lynn, and then lost. Oh, you can watch the match. Interesting. This goldsarm.com is a great arm wrestling website. If you want to know.
Also, goldsarm.com, you should sponsor us.
Yeah, they don't sponsor us. This is not a paid sponsorship. This is just me letting you know that this is one of the places you can find stuff, and it's not anywhere else. But yeah, Lachlan, guy's got a body on him, and he put down Lars, and Lars an experienced puller. So it was kind of, and he just got out of that camp with Michael Todd. But Lars is a tenured vet. He's going to come right back to it, and it's going to be fine. But Lachlan's really he's showing some face. He's pulling actual guys now and winning.
Yeah,
like proper.
I think he seems to have shifted at least like 90+% towards arm wrestling. Like this is what he's going to do. So
he came back quick from that Paul Lynn match. And
I think he's got some positive influences. He probably also has some, maybe not so positive influences, but he's got some people behind him.
Yeah, I mean, I forget where he's from exactly.
Australia.
Lachlan? Oh, that's right. That's right.
Because he was pulling with He Who Shall Not Be Named before the match, like 2 matches ago. We're not going to bring that in here.
We don't have to. No, we won't. Pardon me. We Corey West pulled Tobias Barone and lost.
Yeah.
But Tobias is a monster. If you look at his record, he's on left arm. He is a problem.
Yeah.
It was
still.
It was a good match.
I mean, I know Corey ended up losing, but it wasn't a knockout.
No, but it was by those. Yeah, it was interesting. He won the first 2, then Corey won the 3rd and 4th, and then Tobias came back. That 5th and 6th is such a gutsy last 2 pulls. Tobias has faced everybody. He lost to Camille before this, but he beat Wagner Bortolato, lost to Vitali, beat Evgeny.
He's right in there.
Yeah. He
lost to the right people.
He did. Lost to Artem Morozov, the champion.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's okay.
Lost to Marcio Barbosa. Yeah, that's okay. He's doing just fine. And this kid's young, dude. He's 27. He looks like he's 21, to be honest.
No, I think we'll see. I hope he stays in the
stays active.
The Engen realm.
He's had like 8 matches with Engen already, so I think he's not going anywhere.
But he's one of those athletes that I don't think he was like a convert athlete. Like I think he's just like arm wrestling is what he's doing. So I think that's going to be fun to watch him. A lot of these like convert athletes who have been in somewhere else, it takes them a little bit, but I feel like he's from the ground up.
Yeah.
He's also Swedish, so I love everything about him.
Seriously though.
I mean, it was a pleasure to watch Matt Mask pull again.
We love us some Matt Mask.
I think it's a little alarming probably how much Matt Mask love we have here, but it's a thing.
Dude, I mean, he stomps, I mean, Barbosa's been in it forever, and Matt, he just brings the energy. He's just a guy who's like trying to propel the sport.
Yeah, and I mean, he's like, for me, it's a sort of nostalgic, thinking back, watching all those wall matches.
Yeah.
Where he was just like insane.
He pulled so much.
In so many good ways.
Yeah, he pulled so much in WAL. It's like, thank God we just know the guy already. And he's just still doing the damn thing. With just as much excitement, even though if his hands look like they don't literally work.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but he's also like, I don't know. He's like, if you follow him on social media, which if you don't, you should. Like, he's just a solid dude, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's like a dad and works as whatever and
just took us off.
Yeah.
he's just a hard working arm wrestler, just like.
He's the reason I rice bucket trained for 4 days.
There you go, dude.
And I haven't done it since, but I probably should.
That's okay, dude.
Yeah.
We can't all rice bucket train. You know who probably does? Rustam Babiev. Because he defended his title against Sandris, just 4-0'd him pretty definitively. Nobody in the world is just going to... You're going to need a real freak of nature to take away that from Rustam. So, and here's the end of the match. Eddie is... I think, obviously Eddie was ecstatic that he beat him one round.
Eddie at the end of the match.
Yeah, Eddie Hall. This Brian Shaw and Eddie is just... It was a good match. I'm telling you, I hope that Eddie continues to pull. I know he wants to keep doing MMA, but...
I think his focus is going to be on, and has been on his fight against Pudzianowski.
No, I know. Yeah, the MMA, that's happening in 3 months.
Yeah. I mean, I cannot, just the way that he talked about his fight with Pudzianowski, I think that is
oh, no, that's going to be...
matters way more to him than pretty much anything. And I wonder if that's just going to sort of, bubble over into, I'm now in MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
we'll honestly, that's a better place for him, I think, comparatively, and that's not a place that Brian probably wants to go.
No, Brian has...
I'm not mad. I am honestly not mad that match didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to see, an ent fight anybody.
MMA, that was going to be a scary thing. I'm glad that Brian is sticking around for arm wrestling because he is going to be a real problem. Once he gets all of his ducks in a row and everything fine-tuned to the way it's going to be, and he's already fine-tuning it as much as he already can with all of his freak implements and his brain, it's going to be a real problem. He's going to be a serious problem in the super heavyweight division. Just his next match alone, being a regular puller, is going to be insane.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if you're looking at you've had a career in strongman, and now you're at a point where arm wrestling is one of those things where we see guys doing it into their 60s.
Yeah.
And still being relevant and still having fun doing it. And it's going to light up some tendons. Yeah, it's going to light up your elbow. It's going to light up your shoulder.
Yeah.
But it's not like you're not going to drop a freaking frame on your toe, and you're not going to
And the man knows how to recover.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he can, and I think he can. It's the training for him.
Yes.
The process, and he's a really process driven guy, and he now has a process. He knows what he needs to do. And I guess I'm excited to see who he's going to pull next. I don't know when that's going to happen, but
I don't know. I mean, you'd hope that he stays, active, and there's this. I mean, since it was the end of the year, so everything trailed off. But I mean, there was a lot of events last year.
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, I would assume Engen's trying to keep it just as hot.
I hope so.
On the fire, and I hope he does, because you could see Brian back, and I'm sure he's probably already recovered.
Yeah, that's the other side of things. You do we're not all Mitch Hooper, and we can't do 9 events a year. But with arm wrestling, it's you got to recover. Yeah, it's a little bit more acute. It's limited to a specific muscle group, essentially.
Right.
So you can bounce back, but you still got to take a little break.
Yeah.
I forgot Paul Lynn lost.
Yeah. He's facing Krasimir, though, so it's
yeah, I know. But
we love Paul. He's going to be back. I mean, let's see. Krasimir is...
Dave Chaffee came back and lit some stuff up. He's a... I mean, I love watching him.
Of course.
Pull. He's a scary dude.
I know. You forget.
I mean that in the best way possible. I mean that in the best way possible.
I know.
But that dude is scary.
Yeah, no, it's... When you don't see them, it's funny because there's so many events. You just don't see them for one event. And then you're like...
Yeah.
Oh, they're just... you don't know. How is it? How good is he? I haven't seen Dave in a while. It's literally maybe been a year.
Yeah.
Maybe that, which in the grand scheme of everything is nothing. So it's, and then he just goes out there and does Dave Chaffee things.
It's amazing to watch him pull, and it's scary, and he's scary strong. And I was I was not surprised at all. He went 4-0.
Gabor's a brand new guy to us too. So it's I didn't know what to expect.
I mean,
with a guy like that, you could be like, oh, this is going to be an actual problem. He's just some freak from, where's he from?
I don't remember.
Hungary. And it's like, you don't know anything about him. And he's just some 300-pounder. And you're like, well, you haven't seen Dave pull in a while? And you're like, it's Dave Chaffee. Have some faith. And Dave put him down.
He's 21.
Gabor is?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't even...
That's the first Angan event he's pulled at. So.
Yeah. We're going to see more of that guy. Your first match is Dave Chaffee. You're only going to go up from here, theoretically, so...
Yeah, it's a nice induction into the whole thing.
Certainly. Barbora and Gabby pulled again.
That was surprising to me.
I mean,
that was almost more fun to watch than anything.
That was probably the best match of the night. I mean, Gabby, I hadn't watched her pull in a really long time. I mean, she's pulled. Yeah, she hadn't pulled since 2023 against Barbora. That was her last match before that, and I didn't see that match in 2023, so I just didn't know what to expect. And I mean, as dominant as Barbora has been the last year and a half, it's like, oh, I didn't expect Gabby to take the 2, even though she should have. She's a veteran, and she's been in the game for doing it. She faces Egla, Sarah. She's only faced, like, in this circuit, only really good people.
But she beat Egla.
Exactly. She beat Egla twice, I think.
And that was why I was like, I don't know. I mean, I was excited for the match. It was great to watch.
Yeah.
I think it was nice to sort of like, I'm not going to say, like, this might get kind of racy. I'm not going to say that Barbora was like a little too full of herself after the last match. I mean, last time she pulled, she didn't have to work for it at all.
Right. She was,
And so it was just
you could be overconfident after that match because it was that dominant.
And the way that she ended that whole thing, and when she was answering questions, she was like, yeah, I'm the shit. like I'm come at me, bro.
Yes.
And so, like, I think when she went into this, I think it was honestly great for everybody because Gabby put up a fight.
Yeah.
Barbara still won, but she worked for it. Like, she had to actually
Eric, can you put
there.
that one on? The Gabby versus Barbora.
Yep. Like, she had to actually work for it. And I think that, like, when after the match, when they interviewed her, like, I think she seemed far more emotionally invested in that win.
Yeah.
Than she did the first time. I think the first time, or not the first time, I mean the last match. The last match, she just, like, up and down, it was done.
Yeah.
And this one, she was like, oh, wow. I had to, like, work a little bit. And so when she said that this match meant a lot to her and the win meant a lot, I think it did.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just like, I mean, I came here and now I didn't break a sweat.
I know.
Which was essentially her last match.
Yeah. And it makes, so yeah, looking back at Gabby's matches, she's faced Sarah Bachman and Egla and Barbora. So in the case of Sarah and Egla, I mean, that's why there's, and zero offense, coming towards this, but this is why there's weight classes. Like, she's much bigger than Egla or Sarah Bachman.
Yeah.
And so when you face so she, like, dominated all of those, and Egla's an absolute animal. She will beat anybody in the world except Gabby and Barbora. And I put that, like, that's what I put down right now. The way Egla's pulled the last couple of events is truly just disgusting.
Well,
but
I mean, she's 80 kg.
Exactly,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
She's like,
she's like, probably, like, they don't have their kgs in here necessarily. 177? I don't know. These are lies. It says Gabby's 80 kg in here, but she's not anymore, I don't think. So that Barbora match is like a true, like, heavyweight powerhouse match, and it was best of 5 their first match, and Barbora won 3-2, and this one same thing 4-2. I mean, it was Gabby won the first 2 of this, and then Barbora Gabby, you could tell she just slowly lost some of the energy to contain. I mean, Barbora.
Well, but I think that's also, like, she might have lost it, but that's also, like, one of the check marks on Barbora's side, which is just, like, tenacity.
Yeah.
And you have to have a level of tenacity in arm wrestling. I mean, like, look at how many matches Devin won.
I know.
Because he could outlast the other person just because he just had that.
And it's not and it's not even a matter of cardio necessarily, because say you have the energy to come back in those last 4, but your morale's down. You just lost 2 rounds. So you're going into that. You're like, just to keep your spirits up alone is going to save that match. And
Well, and like I mean, and arm wrestling is like obviously it engages most of your body as far as muscles are concerned, but at the same time, like it is a relatively specific thing.
Yeah.
So it's like there is a point at which your mental game matters just as much as your physical
100%.
game. And I think that, like, honestly, like, not to jump back to, spend the whole thing on Eddie and Brian, but I think the thing that Eddie has that Brian may be sort of lacking, which it sounds terrible saying that, but like Eddie can kind of come unhinged.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Brian can't. I'm just saying that, like, part of Eddie's thing is literally kind of coming unhinged.
Yeah, I just think there's a little bit more darkness in Eddie than there is in Brian. Yeah, and I think like the true like the best in the world at something, you got to be a little crazy. You got to come from you have to find the dark space, or else.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just pushing your body to the limit that you already know it has, but you have to go deeper if you want to become the best in the world at something.
Yeah. And I mean, like, Eddie has shown that when he does come unhinged, he can do some wild stuff.
Right, 100%. And obviously, we're talking about Brian Shaw, the 4-time world's strongest man. So it's like we know.
No, I know.
But I'm just saying, and of course, once again, I'm sure Brian would say otherwise for all these things. It's like, but he just, he's such a nice guy. It just seems like there's not as much darkness that he's pulling from when you think about like his like getting excited to do things and stuff like that, or just his work ethic. Just like pure determination and hard work. He's a freak.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in strength sports at large, like there's kind of the there's the like just train hard.
Yeah.
And then there's like the sort of like process driven analyst side of things. Mm-hmm. And obviously everybody's on like somewhere in between the just like, I don't care what I'm doing, I'm going to do it as hard as I possibly can. Like that will benefit you.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, there's like the like, I'm going to plan everything out. Everything's going to be like perfect, scheduled. The strategy is on point. Mm-hmm. And then everybody's in the middle, but they have their downsides too. Like I'm just going to do it as hard as I can. Well, okay, but that's how you end up with people with like doing curls for the girls for 4 hours every day.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you get sort of analysis paralysis of like, well, I'm going to schedule out.
Are you saying curls are for girls? Is that what you're trying to, is that the stance you're taking right now?
Dropping some rhymes too.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I don't know if that's a bar. Yeah. That's one thing. But if it's
it's a bar. Okay. Spitting some truth.
That is some sick truth.
No, but I mean, yeah.
We'll get on the cipher later. No big deal. Continue.
No, I usually beatbox. I don't rap.
That's okay.
But now I lost my train. All I'm saying is that the guys who just like go hard no matter what they're doing, like the payoff is still substantial.
Yeah.
But the guys that plan and see sort of into the future, I think that there's an inherent level of apprehension because it's like I can like for the like go hard right now guys, it's like this is it.
Yeah.
Like this is what I got and I have to do what I need to do. And Eddie's more that guy.
Yeah.
Like he's like, listen, there is no future. It's like this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think
that person that's ready, exactly, the darkness, the person that's ready to die doing that thing that they're trying to do is the person who, not always, of course, but more, in their own minds, more likely to prevail. And they, a lot of the time they do.
I mean, I don't. Well, more likely, I don't know. I mean, but like they're likely to.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
but
exactly.
I mean, it's like,
right. Not more likely necessarily, but
it's just sort of like to me, it seems like different paths to get to the same place.
Right.
Because you look at Brian, and it's like 4 times world's strongest man. Like he's done more, like as much for the sport as literally any strongman to exist.
Yeah.
And it's okay that I mean, like he's planned, he sees a future, he makes good decisions, and he's kind of like I mean, I think that's good, but I think as a part of that, you're sort of constantly looking into the future, and because you're looking into the future, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to screw myself up on this thing, because then I'm going to have to recover, or then I'm going to have to do this thing or whatever, and
well, and that's like, I mean, that's how we can even have the conversation, because even from afar, you can like kind of see what that person's putting themselves through. Yeah. Like you can tell that you don't know that person. We don't know this person. It's like,
true,
but it's like almost obvious that they're like putting themselves through something different than what this person is going to. And once again, it's just what we can see from the outside, but you see a lot of the time you see the payment or the workout, just the fucking all the work. So it's whatever. If you don't go to the darkness, that's fine. But I don't know. Sometimes it seems to help a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it does in like situations like this, where it's like a very acute, like it's a very momentary thing.
Yeah.
Like obviously you don't necessarily see that in like athletes that have to do like more than like 30 seconds to a minute of things at a time.
Right. It's usually in in what do they call it? I mean, just like fight sports, or like this would be, stuff like that. When it's momentary, you're not playing. It's not basketball. We have 82 games. We have 82 games in the season, boys. I'm not killing myself before this game. I promise you.
Yeah. I don't have to.
Though if you could, you'd be better.
Get on my level, man.
I'm gonna put that out there. If you tried if you thought you were gonna die every game for an 82 game season,
then you'd be dead.
Then you'd be probably dead. But
no, I mean, but yeah, I think it's different ways to get to the same place.
There's always another Basho, my friend.
Both. That's what I always say.
You got that reference?
Yep. Yeah. If you haven't seen our
check out the Sumo Wrestling for Dummies episode.
Exactly. Yeah, check it out. Get some views on
There's
that.
The January Basho is going on right now. I think it's they've put out day 3 on NHK Sumo Live. They do not support us either. NHK Sumo Live
yet.
Yeah. If you go, that page is huge. They have like 3 million people. It's just like a news channel for Japan. But if you guys wanted to follow us, that'd be quite fire.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I checked it out.
Yeah, dude, it's a good time. It's a good time. There's I mean, yeah, I'm honestly excited for arm wrestling to pick back up. It's been a month. It's been a month as of yesterday since this event.
Well, this is this is the.
I apologize real quick. Levon smoked Jerry. Jerry did everything he could, but Levon just did Levon.
I wasn't surprised at all.
No, not at all.
I mean, I said this in the episode before, and I still stand by it. Like, Jerry was training like he was training like capital T. And he's a big dude. I mean, there's no doubt Jerry Cataretta is
he didn't look
force
small
to be reckoned with.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like he was like shrunken by Levon. But
and I think it was like, if you're going to give Levon a match, that was great.
It was a great match.
It made sense to me.
You got to keep him up. Like, to stay Levon, you still have to pull.
Right.
You can't pull once a year and people are going to be like, he's still a monster. We know he's a monster, but the guy's still got to pull. I don't care if he's just smushing people.
Yeah, and I think
we want to see it.
We throw appropriate people at him, and that's okay.
That was an appropriate contestant.
Yeah, and I think it was good. I think Jerry, I don't know if he enjoyed himself. It seemed like he enjoyed himself.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's the biggest, it's the pinnacle of arm wrestling. It's like, that's where you, I mean, if you love arm wrestling, that's where you want to be. And I mean, that was the first one stateside, the first East versus West stateside as well. And exactly, it doesn't get bigger than that. I'm sure it does. If you're like an old head, and I say old head in the nicest way, there's like, I'm sure there's world events that are like, but I don't think there is anymore, because everything's like just like kind of free reign. Everybody's a free agent unless like Engen talks to you. Like, this is where you want to be. So, I mean, this arguably is the Super Bowl right now.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot I need to do. I mean, I have no time, but I need to do my due diligence looking at more of the other like leagues, like startup leagues and things that are happening, because there's some good stuff coming out of smaller organizations that are still putting on good live streams. They're still putting out like good content. So I think it's growing, just like we talk about literally every episode.
We're already talking about a small thing. So to find the smaller organizations than it's like, dude, it's finding it's finding a baby needle in a daddy needle stack. You know what I'm saying?
If I had a nickel, man,
dude,
I think that's one thing that I got out of the Nadia Stowers interview. Okay, I'll stop after this one.
Jeez,
but like,
we love you, Nadia, but jeez,
I know. I got to name drop all this.
I know, dude,
but
I get it.
I think one of the big things that we talked about that really kind of made me change my perspective a little bit was like talking about getting the right audience.
Yeah,
like of course you can have people outside of the sport sit there and judge it as much as they want. And like, it's probably not worth our time to try and convince that person that this is something they want to watch, because like that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it is important that like these smaller or these niche sports like focus on people that are sort of like open-minded and like willing to become a part of the audience. That's far more worth effort than trying to like, you know, like convert the masses.
Yeah.
To try and get somebody who just sits there and be like, this is dumb. Like, okay, then don't watch.
I know.
Like,
yeah. Like, we're not gonna get our wives to enjoy it. Probably. You know.
No.
It's not gonna happen. Okay. But once again, those are the people that are like, it's just not the people that it's gonna stick to. It'll stick to.
Sure.
It's just gonna take some time, and you got to tell them. You just got to get them to the avenue of the actual thing that's happening.
I think a huge portion of it is just letting people know it exists.
That's what I'm saying. Trying to tell them to find a stream for it, like that it even exists, is like, what are you talking about?
I mean, I know talking to people like about this podcast and being like, oh, we talk about strength sports, and they're like, what are those?
They're like, how fast can I sleep?
These are my crops.
Yeah.
As the previously uninitiated, I definitely thought you meant like powerlifting.
Yeah.
Right. That's what everybody thinks. Yeah.
Well, and like even and I mean, I in a real way, when you say strongman, people think TV show, and I mean that what you fine.
Yeah.
Like that's, but I think like getting into a conversation that allows you to be like, well, there's this. I mean, there's like a very competitive side to this that has a relatively regular set of like events that are shown and people train for it and do things. Like suddenly it becomes more of a thing than just like a TV show they watched or whatever.
Yeah.
Which hopefully we can convince some people of that.
At some point we gotta.
One.
I mean, come on. If we can't convert one,
I
mean,
I'm sure we've converted one.
Yes, dude. When can we start the super church?
Tomorrow. No, it's like, it's just Age of Empires 2 when you get a priest and you can convert units. Yeah.
Dude, I'm the lame priest. The one who wanders around and he doesn't
wandering in the forest.
Yeah, he doesn't
the gray priest.
He doesn't do anything. You're just like, I remember the first time I played Jage and I was like, dude, what's this lame priest do? He's like, oh, nothing. He's kind of just, he's the guy who like walks out and looks at stuff. You're like,
hey, he can find relics though.
yeah, dude, he's your scout, bro. You're like,
or they're like on your map, there's that one place that's like fog of war you can actually see, and it's just because you have one priest that you told to walk. Okay.
You're like, my scout is the lame priest. He's barefoot in the desert. What are we? He's like 90. What is going on?
All right.
If you guys understand AoE, Age of Empires, you'll get it. You'll love that segment. It's a solid section of our pod. Actually, that was our peak. But yeah, no, it's like
reminds me of high school.
Dude, don't get us into. We'll start lanning on this podcast.
Okay,
dude. Don't tell me with a good time.
It was a great event.
It was. It was a really good event to end the year, and like there were some competitive matches, a bunch of championships. I mean, arguably the biggest match of the year with Eddie and Brian, and the match was super competitive and super exciting. Yeah. And a stranger should watch that match if you have never watched a match. I mean, if those guys don't get you excited, I don't know.
Well, and I think that was kind of like
the goal.
I mean, it was just bring people in who they know Eddie and they know Brian from social media.
Right.
And they're like, hey, you could watch them arm wrestle each other.
Right.
And I mean, like, I think obviously a similar thing will happen with the Pujanowski fight.
Yeah. But it'll probably be in Europe and it won't do the same thing.
Yeah.
This was the other thing is like this was stateside. This was in New Jersey. This was the first Engen event that wasn't a Challenger Series in the States. And that sets a cool precedent. And I mean, the Challenger Series obviously got it started, but hopefully you see a lot more in America because if there's one in Chicago, you know the strong Chaduals are going to be there.
Absolutely.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
I mean, I just hope that we can become the sort of like audience powerhouse that Europe is.
I know.
At some point.
I know.
Like, it's like if we could just get like this. I feel like as much as I have opinions about CrossFit, like I do feel like CrossFit was doing that for us.
Yeah.
It was getting people involved and engaged with strength sports. And then ever since that guy died in the swimming event, it's sort of like it's like, see, that's what happened.
I know.
And
I mean,
I think that it's growing. It's not the UK yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, it can't go backwards, can it?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Jeez.
It probably can.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? You can't get everyone.
You can't
we go
always
backwards,
get what you want.
I mean, it's gonna be a problem, but like theoretically, that's not what's gonna happen. We should. It's only getting bigger, and it's from afar, from our visual, like I feel like it's blown up. Like when you look at the thing, you're like, dude, blown up is like minute, but also from what it was even a few years ago, like pre-COVID.
Yeah. I mean, I think COVID probably actually did positive things because people are now more willing to engage with stuff like this, like online niche sports, because it's like, well, right. I had to live my life through. Just come on, do it.
Just spreading.
Just
super spreading for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's if I had a nickel.
Yes, dude. Yeah, I honestly don't even know what the next event is.
So East versus West 16.
Is it?
East versus West, I think 16. Ooh. I don't know if there's a card for it.
Let's see if there's any matches listed. Full card of all the matches. Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. So Gennady, Kavinya is facing Devin. That's right. Hermes versus Michael Todd. That's right. Yeah. Vitali versus Artem. Morozov. Yeah. Oh my God, this event is stacked. Betkili Oniani versus Oleg Petrenko. Hutchings versus Irakli Zirakashvili for the world title at 95 kg. Prokopchuk versus Oleg. Fiat Isaac versus Malin Bergstrom. I have not seen her pull, but Fia's an animal. Frank Lamparelli. Serhii Kalinichenko. Brad Grundy. Basho. Saganashvili. Alex Kurdesha. David Didikian. Vasily. Dang, dude, this event is stacked.
Sort of confused as to why Artem's going up against Vitali again.
It is left arm.
That answers my question.
Yeah, I think because I think they normally pull right.
That just seemed like an odd decision, but
yeah, let me check quick.
I mean, maybe Artem has more of a chance with the left.
Right, yeah, let's see.
Vitali. I kind of doubt it, but whatever.
Dude,
I don't mean to talk poorly. Michael Todd, Hermes Gasparini, that's going to be a great match.
Yes.
Michael Todd's been training like a beast.
I know.
Like the monster he is. He's a guy who I think would probably sound like John Madden there for a second. He is a guy. Here's a guy who I think would do an interview with us.
Vitali pulled Artem on right, in July, beat him 3-0. So this is their left arm match.
That's why I was a little bit.
Yeah, so.
Todd Irakli, that's going to be a heck of a thing.
I know. Dude.
Todd might finally bust that head vein.
Dude, if Todd takes the world title, I'm going to bust a head vein.
I'm going to bust more than that.
What?
Oleg is back.
Yes, dude.
I don't think he's going to struggle with this guy.
Betkili's been on a tear.
Really?
Yeah, dude. This is what I'm saying. We struggle so much with these European names, but I'm sorry, guys. There's so many. Betkili Oniani. It's like I remember the name.
That'll be a good match.
Are you looking at
he's won his last couple of matches.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
This should be a great card, actually.
Yeah. No, it does look really good. And this is in Georgia, so.
Kurdesha and man, we got everybody.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Everybody's pulling.
That's going to be a 9-hour event.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, get your tickets.
Yeah, Engen, I know you're listening. I know you follow us, and I know you comment on dog fights.
I don't mind economy. I'd prefer business class, but
dude, we'll take whatever you give us. On a real note,
I'll see you in Georgia.
If you want to fly us out, we will literally. If you want us to announce it, we will announce it. If you want us to do some color commentary, we'll do color commentary.
Red carpet events.
I'll bring a suitcase full of cords.
Wow, the Cord King will bring his cords. I would legitimately buy a Neil pickup level suit for this. So the call's out there. Can we tag him in this episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
we can tag anybody we want. because we don't have any restrictions. We can
true.
just tag. That's the beautiful thing about social
We're not
media.
banned on Facebook.
Yeah.
Angan, this is real. You fly us out, we're in.
You want to
okay?
know what's great about 2025? We can message any celebrity we want, and it doesn't matter if they reply or don't reply. I can still tell them to eat my butt afterwards, and you can't even. They don't even. Nothing happens. You
Yeah,
just
I know.
block them. It's just like you can just. People have free speech to a scary place.
This is the future. You know, this is
scary, dude.
it's a place we live. No, but seriously, Angan, fly us out. We'll do it.
Yeah, love it.
So, looking forward in the world of strongman and arm wrestling, strongman events are going to start up in February.
Yeah.
Same thing here with arm wrestling. There's always that holiday lull. But we're going to start back with some Giants live events. So if you're not privy, you can watch all Giants live events.
Lord have mercy.
You can watch all the Giants live events. If you go online, you can get a membership. It's not all that expensive. They charge you quarterly, whatever. But we have Giants live events coming up. So Britain's Strongest Man is on February 1st. That will be streaming. It will be amazing, as we've said and been corroborated multiple times. UK strongman events are huge. So Britain's Strongest Man, February 1st. Europe's Strongest Man is in April 5th. And then the Strongman Classic, also a Giants Live, Royal Albert Hall, the 5th of July. Things to be looking for, and things that you can access online when you want to watch them.
It is the new year. We are very excited for more events. 2024 was good for us, so
I would be it would be bad if I didn't mention. Can we cut that too?
Yeah.
what are you trying to record here, man?
So the Arnolds are coming up. Are arguably one of the biggest events that we have during the year.
Yes.
February 28th. So at the end of February, we're going to have all of the Arnold events. So the Arnold Sports Festival comes with a whole lot of things. Obviously, we're getting strongman. We'll get bodybuilding, all of the strength sports and things that we love. And a whole lot of really big names have been verified for the Arnold Strongman event. Obviously, Mitchell Hooper's coming. We're going to see Half Thor is coming. Tom Stoltman, Evan Singleton, Trex, Austin Andrade, Bobby Thompson, like all these guys. Hatton,
all the boys.
So some Canadian blood's going to be on there. A lot of Canadian blood is going to be on there. And Matouche is coming back. Kliskowski, not coming back, but he's going to be there. And the man that we watched win an event, Mr. Gardillon. So who we just watched win OSG Men's Open, will be there competing as well. So that's a big show for him, along with Trey Mitchell. So, at least two of those guys have found and cut their, what's the phrase? I don't know. They've cut their teeth at OSG and worked their way up. And we're going to be seeing them in one of the many biggest shows of the year. So that will be huge. End of February, something to look forward to.
Hell yeah. Let's do it, Ben. It's been another good show, January starting off super hot.
Yeah. The hottest.
We're the Strong Casuals. If you're gripping, we're talking.
Hey everybody, this is Ben from the Strong Casuals. If you've been watching the videos, you should notice that I am sporting some Deathlift apparel. This is the typography shirt. They've hooked us up with some shirts. They make sick designs. Of note, they are doing everything out of their warehouse in South Texas. So design, printing, they're doing everything themselves. They're doing it right. They're not just drop shipping stuff from elsewhere. So give them some support. Check out their stuff. They make awesome things, pump covers, etc. Check them out.